Alright guys, hello and welcome back. It's time for the round of 16 game. The first game between Six Sigma and Fate Esports went to a surprisingly conclusive, exciting, almost over slash not over again slash the game finally ended with Six Sigma moving on to the second round. So if this game is anything even remotely close to that last one, this is going to be just an amazing Challenger Cup series for EU.
Well, the thing is the Bronkos this time, and the Bronkos are a team that really did very, very well last Challenger Cup towards the end. They got themselves sustained, and they actually look pretty semi-decent up in the relegation battles as well. Yeah. So let's see how they can do this time round for themselves. The picks and bans are flying through right now for both these two teams, and we can see that there was a Thor Sylvanas banned away by the Bronkos, and across the way we saw Bologna and Athena taken off the table by Six Sigma.
First pick getting locked in will be Serqet, bring that assassin, very, very powerful, out of that jungle role. On the other side, Neith, Poseidon getting locked in, 80 carry slash, once again, maybe something else. Because Neith has been being experimented with, mid lane, solo lane, a couple cases as well. But Poseidon, yeah, with the mid lane, now I'm looking, oh yeah, Poseidon, he's the mid laner. Unless he's jungle Poseidon, which could be exciting and fun, and all sorts of shenanigansy.
Honestly, what people have realized about Serqet is that Cripple's really important to deal with her. She's one of the things that can really deal with is Cripple, and Whirlpool's very, very good for that. Whirlpool Krakens can cause issues, but obviously beads into ambush can get you out of them for some stages of it as well. So we'll see what else they look to pick up alongside the rest of the picks. There's Xbalanque and Geb being locked in. So that's going to be the duo lane of the Broncos. Very, very safe, very farmy, looking to play it safe in that lane. And then back across the way,
it's going to be hi-rez getting locked in. One thing I want to touch on, though, you mentioned this, the cripples affecting Serqet. Get with that stone shield. Kind of removes that instantly if they're so inclined to do so. So nice little interaction to kind of counter that to an extent.
But hi-rez is smiling wide-eyed here. I really like the hi-rez pick really early from Six Sigma. This is very smart. The Cripple's very good against Serqet. He's very good in lane against Geb as well, and can also stop Xbalanque from using Rising Jaguar on top of that. So these three already are going to be very, very good to be dealt with by hi-rez. So already, hi-rez is going to be a linchpin for Six Sigma's composition, but it can do a lot of impact against the Broncos.
Well, Yanis and Hunbat's getting counter-banned out of this one, taking another jungle off the table from Six Sigma. And, Yanis, very powerful mid laner, especially once the game gets going. There's so much burst possibly coming out of him. After that, though, it's going to be Apollo getting locked in, so at least one of these 80 carries is going to be someplace else, swap with the Poseidon pickup, likely solo and 80 carry, typical dual lane hunters. We haven't seen a lot of Apollo really since Season 1. He received a few nerfs along the way, but he still has the Across the Sky as a very powerful ultimate, allow him to do a decent bit of split pushing if he wants.
Yeah, I mean, Apollo could be potentially in the solo lane, or it could be Neith. It depends on what the matchup is in that solo lane. That'd be the interesting thing. And with Chaac being locked in, it could be either or. I'd probably just send Apollo there for the split push option more than anything else. But Neith could be put there with the World Weaver. She's pretty safe in lane. Not a great against a Serqet, though, so maybe Apollo could be the better option.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that works out. Mid lane, though, is going to be Isis going up against Poseidon. Isis has very good wave clear. Poseidon has very good wave clear. The one kind of curious thing will be how aggressive that Clyde decides to play that Isis in that mid lane. Isis has some pretty big early game all-in. You land a Spirit Ball and follow up with that Wind Gust. It's a pretty big, devastating combo. Poseidon's going to be relying on his Whirlpool and Tidal Surge for wave clear early on, so there's some opportunity for Isis to clear with the Wind Gust, wait those cooldowns out, and just look for an engagement. So it's going to lock in Chaac for the solo laner.
Yep, Chaac does get locked in, and we're going to see the final lock-in as well will be the Bastet for the boys of Six Sigma. And with that Bastet lock-in, that basically just means now that Bastet will be in a position to look for aggression onto Isis. I really like the fact that Bastet can look for aggression onto Isis, whereas Serqet can definitely look for aggression onto the Poseidon, onto the Bastet herself, and hi-rez could be a bit of an issue. I think Geb, though, as long as Geb gets through the early game okay, I do like the safe composition the Broncos have really gone for here. All stages of the game, they're pretty consistent. In what their expectations are. You've got Isis and Serqet for the early to the mid game. Then you've got Xbalanque late game. Chaac mid to late game, but he's just going to be Chaac. And then finally you've got Geb in the late game. Geb is very, very frustrating to deal with, very hard to bring down, but against two hunters could be a bit of an issue. We'll find out though, guys. The Broncos versus Six Sigma. Let's see if the Broncos give Six Sigma a chance to throw this time.
Alright, hello and welcome back, everyone. It is time for the round of 16 games. It's going to be the Broncos facing off against Six Sigma in this one. Looking through his rosters quick, it's going to be Tettleson playing Geb for the support role for the Broncos, Knuckleberry as the AD carry Xbalanque, Clyde as the mid lane Isis, Lennox in that slow lane as Chaac, and Revel in the jungle as Serqet.
Across the way, we'll see Bulbasaur playing solo lane Apollo, Mr. Crunchy in the jungle once again playing Bastet, Angry at AQQ, Against Poseidon, Vote NBK once again going with the Neith, and Deku Scrub will round out their roster in the support role, playing hi-rez.
So some early wards getting dropped down right now by the Broncos, and looking around. Well, all 300s in the game actually going to be starting to look to build towards those Heart Seekers early on, get that pretty big early power spike. Other than that, the only thing that really stands out is that Mark of the Vanguard getting picked up by Ares. Ares generally wants to be aggressive, but when you see that Mark of the Vanguard, it definitely shows that he wants that early game aggression, and he does not want to be taking all that extra damage from the archers.
Tettleson, though, go and watch his gift, which is quite surprising when he's up against the likes of an Ares.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be very, very careful with his positioning here. This is slightly on the greedier side of things, not going for the Vanguard. He's looking for the gold sustain. If he doesn't get picked, it's going to work out great for him. If he does die a couple of times because of it, it's going to hurt him more than it's going to help him on his survivability. We'll find out how it works out, though, for him. As the game has begun, there's nothing too unusual. Actually, scrap that. They're both the blue buffs are being started this time round, and both looking for an early invade. Let's have a high five meetup. Let's do this.
This is actually interesting. Six Sigma realizing the invade potential coming out from that combo. No speed buffs. Just go to lane. It's like, oh, hey, they're invading us too. We'll just go to lane.
Six Sigma made the right call. They did the blue just in case they got invaded, and then made sure that they can do speed later on. That was what the call was. But what's the wave clear going to be like? Because it should be Chaac Serqet that technically win this, because Apollo is going to be a little bit slower with the auto attacks. We'll see though. He's got some good poke onto Lennox already. Here's the speed buff invade now.
Yeah, they're going to look for this fight over here. Chaac Serqet definitely has the advantage over the Bastet Apollo. Hunters and Assassins, not necessarily making for the best combo. They're going to look for the aggression. Mr. Crunchy not in a great spot right now. Going to be able to pounce back over the wall. Will survive in the end. They're still going to look for this, though.
Even trade, and the mid laners can't come yet. Oh, now I'm talking about that Angry AQQ is coming. He's pushed out that wave against Isis. So now this invasion will not necessarily work out well for the Broncos. Lennox is out of position here. He has got the axe. He's going to jump to it with the torrent, and the disengage happens. So that fight does not work out for the Broncos. Six Sigma get experience, and because of that, they'll get a small lead. It may not feel like it, but they will because of the fact that Revel hasn't taken his speed buff yet.
Yeah, with that, taking a peek over at the duo lane, the Broncos were briefly pushed all the way back to the tower. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen yet again. Xbalanque is not known for his early game wave clear. You can see the minion wave advancing towards it right now.
That is surprising. The Six Sigma got the push in mid lane, so they cleared the wave out in mid lane, and they didn't invade the back harpies on the left. I thought they might have looked for that one, knowing that they were going to go for the speed buff and back harpies there. They could have potentially taken the back harpies as their own and got an experienced lead completely for the full duration. But they went for the safer option, so it's going to be all square now as this one continues.
I think part of that might have been... Actually, no, Six Sigma... Yeah, okay. I was thinking this backwards. Like, yeah, Whirlpool is a lot more crowd more predictable, more reliable. Spirit Ball is a good ability. It's a great stun. If you don't land it, that's kind of all they had as far as crowd control went. So yeah, I'm a little surprised with that, now that my brain processed what you actually just said. But otherwise, yeah, they're going to be picking up some back harpies for both teams, and I think after those early invades, they're kind of just looking to play it a little bit safer and farm up for the time being.
Well, Telluson's going to use rollout on this left-hand side here, look for some aggression in this lane, actually knock away though MBK, and then a quick shockwave on the minion wave, that'll drop that one down. Mid harpies coming up in about 20 seconds time, so keep an eye on these supports as they will rotate. Geb's going to be the first one to leave.
Yeah, mid harpies are up in 10. Ultimates online for both mid laners right now. And it looks like that is going to be about it. But yeah, this could be a bit of a big fight. The Broncos are in position. Left side, right side are going to go for them. Actually, they just
this is good from Broncos. That was good from Broncos to get both of them, and it looks like they might be able to get out. Maybe they'll go for Tettleson. Actually, Knuckleberry's going to try and re-engage on this. This is a bit risky. He's on his own at the moment. The team are not in a position to really support. Chains do land from Deku, but the Kraken connects with Tettleson. Apollo's in the sky. What's going on?
That fight went very wrong very, very quickly. When No Escape came out on the back of that first blood kill by Six Sigma, the fight is all sorts of wrong, but good circle protection from Clyde to find that double. It's looking like Vote MBK will fall here as well. So first blood went the way of Six Sigma, but what that triple coming out for Clyde, that is going to be an overall victory for the Broncos. I saw what they were going for. Cataclysm came online from the Harpy Cam for Tettleson. They went for the big aggressive play. They just grouped up a little bit too much there. Tettleson ate a bit too much damage and fell for that first blood.
Oh, the delayed quadra kill possibly. Angry Day QQ getting very, very low. Clyde could have potentially got him for the kill then. Played it safe though.
Cooldowns.
And picks up 3 kills because of it. He had the wingless damage there. He still had like 2 or 3 strikes with it. It would have been enough to kill him.
Oh, you made use of it. Okay.
The Bronkos in a pretty strong position right now based off that engagement. I think Tettleson though played it a little bit too strong, first of all, and that's why the first 2 kills went to Six Sigma, but they couldn't disengage off the back of it, and then Bronkos came back in. Clyde got himself in the position to clean it back up and get up that triple kill. Kills going to Poseidon, Apollo, and the rest to Clyde.
Hey, meanwhile, right side of the map, the Broncos stealing away that mana buff. That's what they wanted to do early on. They finally got to attempt that again and do so successfully. No counter invade coming in a defensive pushback out. They were able to do it successfully. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Left side of the map, Tettleson making rotation out of that duo lane once again. Looking at the way these teams are fighting right now, there's a big aggressive play at level 5. I'm not sure if they're going to want to start looking to kind of hold back a little bit. Isis tends to be a bit more of a stronger early game god. Chaac to an extent as well. He'll get very tanky later on. But early, that Thunderstrike does a lot of damage. At the same time, Six Sigma have a very aggressive lineup. It's like we have this early game team comp we want to capitalize on, but at the same time, Six Sigma have a very aggressive team comp with a lot of potential burst damage.
We'll see how it works out for them, because these speed buffs being offset are going to waste a bit of time on both teams right now. Speed buffs would have been down by this point usually, but because they both started blue, it's on the other way round to the speeds ever slow. Likely, Six Sigma should actually look for a bit of aggression, knowing the speed buff was delayed of the Broncos even further than theirs. They could potentially look for an invade with the Apollo Poseidon if they get the opportunity, because they should know where Serqet will be. Or maybe gank duo because of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Even a Cast Gold Fury's potential as well, yeah.
I don't know if we'll see necessarily a Gold Fury force out of these teams. See Clyde kind of just waiting behind the wall. Why not hide behind a wall? Make them use... I'm pretty sure that's where Isis is, but maybe not. An early Gold Fury attempt coming out, though. I think the biggest issue with that would be Tettleson on that Geb. Yeah, the Ares is great with a no escape and things like that, but if they want to bait it out, the Blink Cataclysm from Geb is a great initiation on a Gold Fury situation. Mid lane,
talk about initiations. There is an initiation. There's an ultimate coming out from Revel as well. Get some damage onto Angry Day. He's not going to drop to the poison ticks though. But that's quite a few ultimates used from either side actually before the mid harpies are up. Tettleson, so Deku could be in trouble here.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of poke on back and forth. Clyde and Tettleson were able to secure the left side harpies. Right side going the way of the Broncos as well. So they played that quite well. DecoScript right now, that aggressive Ares, there was some pretty good pressure early on in lane, but since then, yeah, there was one good no escape, that left side Harpy camp before the fight kind of went awry for them. Since then, Deco's not really making use of that early game aggression possibility coming from Ares.
It's all square at the moment. It's nothing too much to write home about in favour of the lead of the Broncos here. I mean, they've got the Heartseeker, they've got the natural composition, the double hunters in the late game can be strong, but we'll see how that works out for them. Just seeing the teleport picked up by Chaac and used actually as he got back to base Lennox there. We'll be looking for those rotations. I like the pickup of teleport here. It's a smart decision, especially when you're up against an Apollo with the Across the Skies. He can track the movements of the Apollo, or even get there before Apollo can as well.
His Dark Side's coming out, Stormcoil as well, in the right lane, looking for the kill over here. Across the skies, that helicopter just blew up spectacularly on the tower. Lennox now the focus of a Crunchy and a World Weaver.
Well, meanwhile on the left hand side you can see Deku's actually trying to go for the Gold Fury Ward destruction, but instead it's his own life that goes down. Back to the action on the right, Lennox in trouble from Mr. Crunchy.
Catcall is down. That is, Hand of the Gods not going to be able to secure that. Mr. Crunchy, there's a Thunderstrike coming in. There's that kill in the soul lane. Left side fight still going on as well. Cirque protection down.
The Gold Fury's low.
Fury, who's going to get it?
There's no hug. The Broncos will get it, and Revel will find the kill onto Angry Day. Lennox dig full, but now you can see Revel going again and pick up the double onto Vote NBK. Gold Fury as well. Crazy action across the map, and that all started because Deku looked to clear out the ward when he had the opportunity to, and there was action right, and got picked because of it.
Yeah, rough one there. Clyde's going to get a full wave of minions to that tower. Get a little bit of extra poke and damage to it. Right side, Revel not in a great spot right now. Caught out, going to be able to ambush across the wall. Deathbane is on cooldown. The poison dot bleed from Serqet. The cat god Bastet is the one I'm looking for. We'll secure that kill.
You will indeed now is 7-5 at 8.5 minutes in. The experience of gold lead exaggerated even further now for the Broncos. This is a true lead right now at the stage of the game. Yeah. This showed why they managed to get themselves into those positions. But Deku, no escaping mid.
The Spirit Bolt not going to connect on that one. Looking for the deck for damage. Telson might fall here. Clyde trying to run away. The dot damage from Ares ticking not going to be nearly enough for that kill. It's a good pick by them. They have the support down now for about another 15 seconds or so. Not really much opportunity to capitalize on it, but it's extra gold in the bank, and when you're a little bit behind, every bit helps.
It was a really good pick, actually. And now what you need to actually realize about that is that they realized Isis's beads were on cooldown there as well, okay? So knowing Isis's beads were on cooldown then, they should be looking to burn them before Ares ults again. And if they can keep Isis's beads at the opposite end of Ares ults, in terms of like being on cooldown every time he's got it available, they can force Isis to be killed over and over again. But it's very important they keep trying to focus the beads. Keep an eye out for looking for potential ganks from Bastet. Bastet can't really force them, I guess. Maybe World Weavers from Neith could really help out with that.
See, the left side Harpies once again going to the Broncos. Right side as well. Mr. Crunchy will have that pounce to run away from Rebel here as soon as that taunt wore off. Was able to successfully escape from that one. Mid lane, a bit of a grouping right now. They're going to try and push this wave towards the tower, but it's going to be cleaned up quite quickly by Angry Day QQ. Level 12, Poseidon has no issues whatsoever clearing out waves of minions.
Yeah, it's not going to be an issue. Apollo, though, is quite surprised that we've not seen Bulbasaur manage to get any tower damage down onto Chaac's early on. Lennox has done a good job of farming this one up. I like his decision in the build as well. He started off with the Death's Toll to make sure he can maximize wave clear and stop the push power from the early game of the Apollo with the axes, and didn't really take any tower damage because of it. Now with the Gold Fury being down, though, where I saw a lull in the action in the game here is all the jungles down too. It's pretty much a farm off unless somebody gets cut.
Yeah, one of the big factors in the solo lane as well just comes down to Chaac is Chaac. He's a very, very big lane bully. Bulbasaur has a Death's Toll, it's a decent little bit of extra sustain in lane compared to the Bluestone Pendant, but still, when Lennox is just, I'm going to hit you with my axe, which every 5 attacks I get for free, it's a rough time for Bulbasaurus, who's actually, the little 2-level advantage that is occurring over there right now, I want to say it's almost to be expected, because Bulbasaur did have to go back to base a few times during the laning phase.
Oh, we're going to see Knuckleberry head back there right now on the left-hand side. Go back, pick up some booties for himself. Tier 2 available for him. 0, 0, and 6 as well for Knuckleberry. Has been involved in every single kill, so it shows that the Darkest and Nice have been put to good use. Even if he's not actually managed to land the killing blow. You can see mid lane, they were looking for a play there, but Deku takes a lot of poke, and here comes Bastet.
There's the Kraken coming in, going to find a little bit of damage on the Circle Protection used for a little bit of a heal, but it's not going to be enough for Mr. Crunchy with the
shield on the wrong target!
Kill, yeah, that was a
lucky from Saddleson. He was looking for it, but they were grouped up together. Meanwhile, Apollo versus Chaac trading backwards and forwards there. Lennox was being ready for a rotation, but cautious about that. Here comes a rotation from Apollo as well.
Here they come in. Angry Day will pick up that kill. Apollo's going to drop in and look for this kill. Telson, no more knock on that one. Serenade, though, will buy his team time to move into position. As, he's going to be forced to roll out back to safety. Knuckleberry and Chaac, though, are looking to clean up house.
Uh-oh, boys. Greed boys from Six Sigma. They wanted to get too much. They pushed up. They didn't expect the rotation to come out. Xbalanque and Lennox do show up and clean it back up again. So that whole fight goes backwards and forwards. It was a small game for Six Sigma. It was a bigger game than it should have. So it was a big game, but then it dropped some of that gain because of the counter engage. He just overdid it.
Lennox now mid lane looking to kill Angry Day QQ. Doesn't want to overcommit to that. He actually, cooldowns. Gonna call that one to cooldowns. Still about 5 seconds left on that Thunder Strike. Had that been a little bit shorter, Angry Day would have been dead to rights right there. So fortunately for him, cooldowns. Just to reiterate that fact. Mid lane though, that tier 1 tower for Six Sigma is looking a little bit worse for wear. And with Clyde back in lane, he's gonna be looking to push another wave all the way to it.
Well, mid-hop is due to spawn very, very soon. We saw that Angry Day did actually just go back to base, pick up speed, but mid lane, Deku is getting focused again. He's dead. Rest in pepperonis. He already goes down, and this is an opportunity for a Gold Fury. Look at that. Across the map, the whole damn team is moving already straight for it. They know they've got an opportunity for this. I don't know why they're going for mid when Gold Fury is available.
I want to say they're hoping for clearing out the wards, and while they're waiting for that, they want to make sure no one gets caught kind of on the tail end of rotation. As well as, possibly they come in, it's like, oh, mid-harpies are up, we want to kill those, maybe catch somebody out. VodaMK is waiting nearby, looking to steal this gold for you, actually forcing the reset just by mere presence.
That was very safe.
Yeah.
That was very, very safe from the Broncos to go for that one. I guess they were worried about the Kraken being available for Angry Day and Bastet being about, which is understandable, I guess. But they did have an opportunity, and talk about the opportunity, still going for it now, Knuckleberry, but Crunchy's nearby.
Yeah, Revel has to be careful. It's a little bit low on health. Darkest Knight's coming out. They're looking to lock this down, secure this one right now. Rebel going forward. There's the attack call dropping out. Circle Protection is down. That's going to be the Broncos Gold Free, but Angry Day finds 2 with the help of VodaMK with that Kraken.
That's okay. 2 for a goal for you. It's not too bad. They got a pick earlier as well. Teleport from Lennox though, as the no escape does hit onto 2. Beads forced on 1, and Isis is dead. But Lennox has turned up. What can he make happen? As once again, hi-rez is trading with Revel, and he has to turn it back up for his team. Lennox going to find 1. Can he find more?
They're maybe considering it. Maybe wait on the cooldowns, go back in. Deku Scrub, Vote MBK versus Revel Lennox. If they can force out and burn down Vote MBK, World Weaver fired down. They were looking for Revel, weren't able to find it. Deku now has chased way too far. The route from the Spirit Arrow will be good and stop Lennox from securing that, but I was going to say you might look for that as Vote MBK delays that back a little bit.
Meanwhile, Apollo has split pushed this tier 1 tower. He's taken nearly the whole of the tier 2 tower down as well. And because of that, you're going to see Mr. Crunchy turn up here to help bring this one down. And that gold lead has just evaporated in a matter of seconds for the Broncos. The gold that they just got, gone. Oh, they're giving it up. Wow.
They will
survive for a moment.
Where they were the Serqet. They didn't want to wait around too long, basically, just for the rotations coming out. They knew they were on, like, borrowed time, essentially. So the call to retreat was probably good. If Revel had jumped over a wall just a second sooner, could have possibly deathbaned into range. And the last breath of Slum Poison. I don't know. It could have worked out okay. They probably could have taken it down. 1,500 gold, even if they lost one or the other. Even if they lost both, it would have been an overall gain. But they have to be worried. The kills are worth more experience. So you have to keep in mind it'd be like a back-and-forth kind of trade in that situation.
50 minutes in, all square. Just the gold differential really the difference between the two teams. Man, my words are not working. The Broncos do have the slight advantage. They're up on levels. Lennox level 17 to Boba's level 14 is one of the biggest reasons of that experience difference you can see on the screen. You can see the supports are even, see your hunters are relatively even, as are mids. It's generally down to that solo lane where the experience difference is.
Yeah, it's shown a little bit as well. Every time Lennox shows up to a fight, he is one hell of a powerhouse. Every fight so far as well, Teleport has been down.
Did just get all in by the Serqet. Revel does some good work, forcing the poison. Didn't have to blow, though, the across the skies, which is good news for him. Doesn't have beads online yet, and that's why he just got focused then over there. Left-hand side, though, Harpies are spawning. We'll see a fight.
Yeah, the Broncos looking to keep their streak of pretty much every single Harpy camp in the game going. We'll see if they commit to that one this time around. Dooku in position to look to start this one up. Clyde gonna throw some Wind Gust. The Blink no escape. They want the fight instead.
Can they get a blink and pull? They get pull 2 targets in there as well. Mr. Crunchy, Knuckleberry's actually the one that's really in trouble there as he does jump in and find the kill with the bleeds. Now the Wind Gust on the backside as Angry Day does bring out another target. On the back, here comes Lennox and Apollo!
Stormcall coming down, gonna find number 1. Clyde in the back, Bulbasaur rotating over now 1v4. Lennox looking to clean up on his own and doing a good job of doing so. He's gonna take that second. They're gonna look to force him to fight. Abilities on cooldown, he's just gonna be looking to run to the safety tower, buy himself some time. If he buys a little bit more, looking for Crunchy, not able to find it. Lennox, first fight of the game, he was able to join up, but once he showed up quick, but they had no escape into that Kraken, just kind of ruined the fight for Six Sigma, or excuse me, for the Broncos before it even got started.
And because of that, Six Sigma should be able to get the tier 2 tower on the right hand side, which they do. Drop tier 1 tower is being pushed in mid lane. Couple of minions waiting. Geb should be back to defend it, though they won't get the tier 1 in mid lane. But it did help them nullify the golden experience lead that the Broncos had. We're all square, boys.
Yep, yet again. Another game coming back towards the even after an early game lead. With that said, the game is still far from over. A little bit of a misstep there by the Broncos. Getting caught in the jungle, a tight area like that, having multiple people pulled by no escape is probably the worst case situation when you're up against an hi-rez, never mind with a Kraken to immediately follow it up. If they're able to avoid things like that, the fights could still very well go their way. We saw how much of an effect Lennox had in what was effectively a 1v4, 1v5 situation when he kind of showed up to the fight after his entire team was already dead.
I mean, honestly, the no escape hitting onto Geb's not a problem. It always hits Geb most of the time in these engagements. It always will do. He can choose to use his ultimate cataclysm to stop it, or his other option is to sit there and take it and then ult after he gets pulled in. The bad news is that his teammates keep coming along with him because their beads or their escapes are generally on cooldown every single time, and it's actually hurting them quite badly so far in these games. Lennox has turned up nicely for the Broncos at the right sort of time, but he's just not being able to do much about the rest of the team having issues.
A little bit of a ward battle going on by the Fire Giant, it looks like. It looks like the Broncos will win that one out. Mid lane, some pings being spammed around the map as well. We'll see if they look for a play right here. There's Rebel jumping over the base, or the wall rather, looking to back up his team in this mid lane tier 1. They want to keep that up as long as possible, because if that drops, they kind of frees up the center of the map for the Six Sigma to start rotating around more freely.
Yeah, we'll talk about rotating freely. With Apollo, Bulbasaur has actually managed to take down both those tier 2 towers now, which means that he can keep the pressure on here. And I'd like to see Bulbas sit in this lane as long as possible. I'd rather see them lose a fight at the Gold Fury and take a Phoenix in trade, which is a potential thing he can look to do.
Fire minions at this early in the game are an absolute nightmare to deal with. Yes, Lennox is very, very fed. I don't want to say fed necessarily, but he's very far ahead. 5-2-4. He's tanky. He's level 19 already. He'd be able to deal with them, but it's a slow process. He'd pretty much have to be over there constantly, and if he looks to join a fight, he then has to keep in mind he really only has a little while to deal with before those minion waves are advancing towards the Phoenix again. They're not going to be killing the Titan at this point. There's still too many towers up given the Titan defenses, but that Phoenix being down would be absolutely devastating and kind of always that weight on the Broncos' back for the remainder of the game.
Well, Apollo pushes out one more wave on the right-hand side. You can see Six Sigma using their sentries wisely to get as much control around this Gold Fury pit as they can. Good wall placements from the Broncos, though, means that they have an idea of teams going for it here. But Serqet is currently doing the speed buff, and the rush from Six Sigma, they're going to use Kraken for this as well. Six Sigma do get the Gold Fury, but can they keep their lives?
Deku Scrub not looking like it right now. He will turn tail and go back to the enemy team to make sure that the rest of his team is able to escape. Bulbasaur going to rotate part of the way across the map. Not enough mana. You want to keep a little bit in reserve just to use abilities if necessary. They can look for the tier 1 tower in mid to answer back. So still small victory for Six Sigma, but they take this tier 2. The Broncos will come out victorious overall.
I don't think they can get the tier 2 here, honestly. It's going to be a bit much of an ask for them. They do have a minion wave coming, but against Poseidon, it's not easy. Leonard's going to try and tank it up, though, and you can see he's going to zone out 2 members of the team. Revel's going in deep, looking for Vote MBK or Angry Day. Meanwhile, Knucklebase, now the one tanking the tower. They don't want that. This is a wasted engagement, and Revel's going to go down to Bulbasaur because of it.
Yep, Clyde in the back, so Mr. Crunchy giving chase right now. Wingust buying her some distance to stay alive, but the bleed is more than enough to find that kill. They were a little bit split on their focus. They were going for kills. They were going for towers. The lack of focus resulted in neither one working out for them. So the Broncos, they were looking for something. They just couldn't make up their mind as to what it was.
Didn't make up enough of a difference for him there. They should have taken the tier 1 tower, maybe looked elsewhere, because that push didn't work out. Now the counter push is on, the cats are up as well. Ares comes in with the no escape. You're getting pulled in, Lennox. Come for a ride on the train. He does get some good damage off with the torrent, but it's not going to stop them from taking the tier 1 tower down in the mid lane.
Yeah, Six Sigma now looking like it's a very, very small gold lead, but they're doing a pretty good job making these plays. Yes, Fire Giant has officially been started right now.
Hunter. Yeah. It's double hunter. They know Geb had to go back to base. Lennox is dead for another 40 seconds. Clyde's still respawning as well. They have a chance. Geb can save the day here. Kraken's being used again to try and burst this down. They do get it. And Knucklebase is trying to find a killing response to Vote MBK, but he may pay with his life.
He's looking for it. He's going very deep. 1v5, trying to find whatever he possibly can. Is anyone nearby? If Serqet could make a play here, it could be big, but again, it would be risky. 2v5 now. Rebel's going to get this kill into Vote MBK right here. There's the Deathbane connecting. Actually backflipping right out of that one, avoiding most of the damage overall. Blessed Breath taking away. Can they secure this? It'll be a nice little pickup. It's going to go 1 for 1.
It is going to go 2 for 1 because Tadelson is surrounded by multiple members. I'm surprised Weevil didn't throw the corpse of his dying opposition into the team so the poison could have a chance of spreading then to do some more damage before he did drop. But remembers dead of the Broncos as well as Knuckle Barry from a little bit earlier on. We called him Barry all game. It's Barry. Barry.
Barry?
Barry, not Barry. I've been calling him Barry.
It was kind of like a cereal kind of thing. I don't know why you had Knuckle Berries necessarily, but I don't know.
Knuckle Barry. But now Six Sigma, like, they've got themselves a lead again. This is kind of looking a little bit like the last game. We'll see if they can actually kill a Titan this time, first attempt. If they get that far, that is, because the Broncos are not an easy opposition to take down. At the moment, though, Six Sigma have put up a good fight this game, and Ares has done some pretty good work, but it's not really been on the back of him. I really like Angry Day this game. It may go unwarranted, but he's been using Krakens for burst damage on objectives, and it's something that doesn't get done that often, but when it is used correctly, it can really work for you, and they're doing a good job with it.
Absolutely. Also curious now, looking at that play over in that right lane, if they'd been able to take down a second hunter, it probably would have definitely been worth it. I don't know. They took a Fire Giant buff off of one of the Hunters. They're going to be looking to defend here. They don't want to let too much of the map go. Tier 1 tower is gone. Nobody defends those. Like crazy stuff.
Yeah, but Tier 1 will go. I'm really surprised we got Bulbasaur over here, though. On this Apollo with Fire Giant, why is he not in the right-hand lane? I'm not so sure. He could be looking to pressure somebody away from the engagement. Or potentially pressure Tier 2 in mid. So the Phoenix is in mid as well. Both available to him, but they're all grouped up at the moment. Now you can see Neith in the jungle clearing out. Was the engagement with the no escape. This is the 4 speeds.
It is indeed. Deacon not taking a lot of damage on the tail end of that one. He's going to be able to sneak his way back out, though. Stormclaw coming in. That's going to be a kill to him in just a second. Revo comes in to clean that up, but they're now looking to turn this fight back around. This is a very messy one for both sides. Health bars are dropping rapidly for Six Sigma.
I think Bronkos are going to win. They need to actually continue pushing back Six Sigma. They wait for the sustained Clyde. Overextends a little bit here. Going to get hit by Will Weaver into the pounce. The combo is good. The silence buys him a second. The bleed is going to hit. But the vote MBK is going to finish it. Bulbasaur on the backside with the across the skies comes in. Revel trades it out. It's B for 2. And they're still going.
They're going to look to clean that one up. It looked like, again, they weren't sure if they wanted to back off or commit to that fight one way or the other. They kind of stuck around in the same spot, just long enough for Six Sigma's cooldowns to come back off, and as soon as they did, they looked for the re-engage and found 2 additional kills because of it. So
that's not that bad. That is not that bad for the Bronkos, actually, because they did manage to take away the Fire Giant of multiple members. Only Poseidon and Mr. Crunchy have it on themselves right now, and what that means is that they were going to lose that tier 2 tower more than likely anyway, but they keep their Phoenixes up, and that's going to stop the push power from Six Sigma for the time being. They may lose the gold 3 here, but then they can fight the next Fire Giant. Yeah,
no, that was definitely overall worth it. Gold Fury is going to be going down. Nobody looking to get to that one. They kind of wrote it off a little while ago. Taking a peek down the builds, these guys are building up. The Hunters are just about that point in the game. They are going to be doing a lot of extra damage. Crit starting to come online for all of them right now. Knuckleberry a little bit further behind still sitting just on that Executioner. Another little bit of an issue as well is going to be potentially those stacks. A handful of deaths coming up for those Hunters. There's a bit of a lull again before the Fire Giant comes up. Those stacks are going to be getting replenished a little bit, but it's one of the downsides of the Heartseeker, especially if you're on the defense. You really don't get the opportunity if the enemy team has Fire Giant. They're going to be pushing. You're not going to be guaranteed those last hits to build those stacks back up.
Well, 25 minutes in now, and you're going to see Six Sigma swinging around the right-hand side, checking to see if there's any jungle available, get some deep wards in if possible as well, and start to control the Fire Giant pit once again. They need this next Fire Giant to continue the winning ways they're slowly having. The Broncos, though, they need to get themselves in a position ready for this next engagement. At the moment, though, Lennox taking a bit of poke, farming up this right-hand side as his team did just all recall, finish off their items and buy some wards, which were much needed.
Yeah, wards definitely help out with that Fire Giant. You need to be keeping tabs on what they are doing. If they're actually starting the Fire Giant, if they're just looking to bait you guys out. The vision, of course, always helps. Not just the Fire Giant, throughout the game in general, for that matter. Buy wards, people. They're important. There's my public service announcement for the day. Got that out of the way. So yeah, the Fire Giant dance definitely well underway right now. They see the counter warding and the counter warding going on. DQ Scrubs looking for the no escape.
Oh, well, he found it though. He's going to pull 2, but both beats immediately. Meanwhile, Lennox on the backside just gets some nice aggression onto Angry Day. He's going to go down before he can even use the Kraken. And now the engagement from the Broncos is big. They're looking for blood if they can find it. Six Sigma turning tail at the moment.
Yep, Clyde's going to fall in the very far back end of the fight. Bulbasaur now using that icy passive to get some health back on his health bar. Going up against that Lennox. All that physical protection, meaning he's not getting all that much. The Hard and Even Lion also helping in that regard. The Broncos, so far at least, have done a good job of zoning these guys out. Bulbasaur is going back to base to heal himself back up. He can fly back in with that chariot/helicopter. But there's the Blink Cataclysm coming in. They're looking to secure a couple more kills for the Fire Giant.
Well, Deku's the one being surrounded now, but MPK's been left alone to auto-attack. Knuckleberry down to very low health. The Unravel actually hitting the backflip, and there's the dunking from the across the skies from a Bulbasaur. He can't find Knuckleberry for now, but he's so low. If he does, the knockback from Tanos was huge. Oh, the across the so beautiful was huge. Meanwhile, Deku with the chains does land onto Revel and Lennox to zone them out for now, but they're so low on HP.
There they are, but Six Sigma are looking to secure these last couple of kills. It's a 4v3, but like you said, health bars are so low. Lennox is about to fall. Storm Call, not channeling time as Revel falls as well. It's all down to Tettleson right now. The Blink is not going to be off cooldown in time. He could look to roll out into the middle of this one, but again, 8 seconds on that cooldown. Mr. Crunchy zoning out. He may not have the opportunity to actually get in there and look for the steal. He's going to try his best.
He's got to go in for this. He's going to shield himself. He's giving it up now, rolling out. But he's already been slowed. He will get immunity and will live to fight another day. But the Fire Giant will not, and that will go to Six Sigma. And now with a couple of members dead of their team for another 30 seconds, Clyde could go down.
Sprint was popped. Mr. Crunchy closing the gap. Declaw for the slow. Pounce for the gap closer. Whirlpool from Poseidon just to help things out. That is going to be a nice pick on the tail end of that fight. Clyde was waiting nearby just to back up Tettleson if the steal attempt had gone through, but just stuck around a split second too long and ended up paying for it.
Yeah, really, really good work from Six Sigma there, honestly, in that engagement. That was very, very strange, though, that whole fight from the Bronkos. They got the initial pick onto Angry Day, leaded the guy with the Kraken immediately, and then it kind of was a bit of 50-50, like, are we going all in here? Are we backing out again? And that indecision bought Six Sigma time to actually pick off Clyde in that engagement at the very start of the fight. And then from there, the fight continued on. It allowed Bulbasaur to recall and come back with Across the Skies and just turn the fight around. Great individual play to actually manage to find that so beautiful over the wall as well to pick up the kill on to Knuckleberry.
So with that, Fire Giant buff active on all 5 members of Six Sigma right now. All 3 Phoenixes of the Broncos fully exposed. Minions not get advancing on all 3 lanes, but they have some opportunity right now to play with. They have the double Hunter lineup. They can send Apollo over to a side lane, look to kind of split push and join up quickly with Across the Skies, which let's face it, the Phoenixes aren't too far apart anyway. So this grouping mid, they look for the mid Phoenix as a full 5v5 setup. No escape, going to whiff. Giga Scrub on that.
Lag. Hello? Lag?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's all it could be. That's all it could be. Oh, just a terrible, terrible misplay. We'll find out. And Tettelson's going to be using the Shockwave to disengage. The Blinky from Deku misses the chains. Now he's going to eat a Spirit Ball to the back of the head too. On the backside of Mr. Crunchy with a great pounce. Does so much damage for Knuckleberry all the way out of that engagement. And now they're still in a decent enough HP bars. Mr. Crunchy making it work off the back of Deku's terrible engagement there in all honesty. But here's Tettelson's engagement in response.
Beautiful Cataclysm found 4. Giga Scrub getting very, very low. They need to find these skills quickly. Bulbasaur finds 1. Kraken from Poseidon finds a second for Angry Day. He's inside low on health, but Vote MBK cleans up 1 more. This could be the game right here. Six Sigma's health bars are getting very low. Spirit Ball picks off Giga Scrub. That's one of their tags coming out.
Please, for the love of God, not again. Please, for the love of God, not again. Please, for the love of God, not again. Thank God they did manage to end. We didn't see a throw, but Six Sigma actually do move on there. The Broncos fall to the wayside. The Fire Giant paying dividends for Six Sigma at the end there. That Phoenix decision to go for and continue the fight. Six Sigma didn't look strong enough, in my opinion, to defeat the Broncos after game 1. But that game against the Broncos, that was impressive. That was really good work from Six Sigma to actually come back and slowly take that one away. Yeah, so well played by both of these teams. The brackets this week, it's all sort of soft-seeded, random-seeded craziness, so maybe a little bit of an early upset for one of the for the Broncos in this one, losing in their first game of the day. I know they're thirsty for sure, coming out of the season, the summer qualifiers, not making it to the SPL, so going to next week, I imagine they'll be back with a vengeance, looking to fight hard and make it further into the tournament. But with that, we'll be moving on to another game here shortly. And based on what that bracket's looking like, it should be another damn good game. I think all the games this week are going to be good because there's a lot of teams going forward. We're in the quarterfinals now. Spicy Waffles versus Team Bazaar is going to be going on. Six Sigma versus Laser Unicorns. Elo Fishes versus Moon Men. But finally, the Pappies are going to be up against the Nuts. And we'll be tuning in with them any second now to see how the Pappies are after their very, very close chance of getting themselves into the SPL.